All right, so in this video, we will be talking about rigor and relevance in lesson planning and unit plans. This unit plan on the screen is a Frisbee and Ultimate Frisbee unit plan. It is in the setting of a high school classroom, and hopefully by the end of the unit, students would be able to demonstrate various types of Frisbee throws, catches, and the rules of Ultimate Frisbee. Along with that, you would hope that um, the unit would foster enjoyment for Frisbee and promoting a lifelong joy of physical activity. Um, it's a great way to have students learn a skill that they can use after they graduate from school. All right, so let's look at quadrant A, acquisition. Um, Teacher actions demonstrate techniques and give feedback. Student actions would be to begin to comprehend the knowledge provided to them. Um, I guess before we get started, the quadrants are not all in one lesson plan. They definitely can occur in each lesson plan, but for the sake of the video, we stretched out the quadrants throughout the unit plan. So they're not necessarily day by day, but more so how the activities progress through the unit. Um, so we started off by wanting to introduce and create excitement for the unit by showing Dude Perfect videos, which are basically trick shot YouTube videos, very popular with high school students, and Ultimate Frisbee competitive videos, just to foster some engagement. Next, we would introduce how to hold the Frisbee, how to throw the Frisbee, catch it, and this is where demonstrations with students and myself would begin to allow students to commit things to memory, whether that be visual by watching, and then physical by trying, by simple drills, playing catch, giving them opportunities to, um, yeah, stick and learn with the information being given to them. All right, quadrant B, application. The teacher actions would be make formative assessments and give appropriate feedback. Student actions apply knowledge of technique to specific situational needs. Um, this day and these drills would be all about giving them a verbal cue. Basically, the stuff they learned and the specific terms and techniques, and giving them an opportunity to apply that to what they're doing. Um, an example of this might look like the predict. So with a partner, they would have to predict the number of completions out of 10. That's a good throw and a good catch, demonstrating the correct technique and the verbal cue that I give. So I may say you have to use a forehand throw for these 10 tosses, and then the next time it would be a backhand throw with a crab catch instead of a pancake catch. So they would be able to, register what was said and then complete the action. Um, Further, they would play horse with a group of three, so you'd have a bunch of garbage cans set out, um, and they could use other, within the rules or boundaries, and basically you could get a little bit creative, but then, yeah, they would have to apply what they know, use the throws they've been taught. Maybe we taught a hammer throw, some other fun throws that students would know and be required to know, and then, yeah, complete the action in a very controlled setting of horse. Next, we would apply what they are learning to the game of Ultimate Frisbee. So we would introduce Ultimate Frisbee with the experience of watching a rules video, just a few minutes long, of the very basic rules of Ultimate Frisbee, and examples online with YouTube there. Let's move on to Quadrant C, assimilation. So teacher actions, it'd be my job to put students in situations where they may fail and hopefully learn. And student actions would be to master the throwing, catching, and basic rules in controlled game-like scenarios. All right, we're not going to use tech or application today. We just want to get these kids moving with the short amount of time we have. So the controlled environment would be the 3-person weave drill, maybe the 5-star passing drill, and then 4v4 mini games where you're using the rules of Ultimate Frisbee, but kids are getting more touches, more opportunities to, just shrink it down, shrink the dimensions, where when you play a full game of Ultimate Frisbee and it's competitive and there's only one Frisbee to go around for who knows how many kids are in your PE class, that can be tough. So giving these guys a chance to explore in controlled situations is what's happening here. So while they're doing these games, we would stop and talk about the strategy of an obtuse triangle, or basically the concept that one defender cannot cover 2 wide receivers, you could call them, if they are standing far enough apart so that, one defender can't cover both people at the same time. And that's a strategy you would want to use when your team has the Frisbee. We'd go back to the games, and hopefully they could apply that and use what they just learned into these situations. And then we'd stop and discuss again. A little more general questions this time. So, when is it a good time to use a long throw? When is it a good time to use a backhand, a forehand throw? And why are you doing this? Why, just using your knowledge and your observations to probe and get them to think about why and when they're doing things. Going to Quadrant D, adaptation. This would be towards the end of the unit where we're going to play full games of Ultimate Frisbee. And the teacher actions would be to prepare games, plan reflection periods into game time. So making sure I schedule times to stop the game and make them think and review and evaluate during the game. Student actions would be to think critically and abstractly. There will be specific times where I really want them to give an answer to something we've been talking about or trying to, a strategy or a concept of the game that we've been trying to learn. And also, hopefully, they would be thinking creatively and abstractly as far as there are endless options of what I can do here, and what are those, all right? So as we're playing full scale Ultimate Frisbee game, they have the opportunity to create. So we will talk about your role if you don't have the Frisbee, and whether that is defending or trying to move in space to get open for a throw and catch. There's a lot of field, and you can really be as creative as you want to. So using the obtuse triangle strategy, and really just it's similar to soccer. Can you use give and goes? Can you fake one way, throw the other, move without the ball, move without the Frisbee? All right. So under review, I have increasing heart rate can be beneficial. Why? All right. So I've never actually used heart rate monitors in a PE class, but I have seen them used at Lamar's middle school, and they're really, really cool. So they strap around each student's chest outside of their shirt, I also think they come on the wrist, and they had a little bit of both. Um, Anyways, there is a TV screen where each student is given a number. So their name is not up there, but they know what number they are, and they can look to see what their current heart rate is. And then it also charts the period of, yeah, like the last hour of their heart rate. So they can look and say, hey, the last 5 minutes, this is what my heart rate has been. How does that correlate to what I've been doing on the field? And that can lead to questions of, you know, relating to their health and wellness of why is it beneficial for my heart rate to rise and for my cardiovascular health, relating it to, am I being physically active, and why is it good to be physically active in today's life? And then, can it provide a competitive advantage? So am I moving without the frisbee, running around trying to get open, and is that why my heart rate's high? Excuse me. Am I playing great defense and covering somebody man to man, and is that why my heart rate's high? Just questions for them to think about and understand and correlate why they're breathing hard, all those types of things. All right. And lastly, at the end of the games, it's fun to throw an extra frisbee or two into the game, and they have to adapt. They have to get creative. It's new situations. There's now multiple threats to score, multiple threats to defend, and you get to see kids react differently to that. And then, yeah, stop the game, ask them to evaluate what they just experienced, ask them what went well, what could have been improved. Do they think there should have been new rule changes? Yeah, just are there new strategies to scoring? At the end of the day, you need to move a frisbee from one end of the field to the other end of the field and into the end zone to score a point. How are you guys best doing that? Kids are smart. Kids can give you answers that you probably wouldn't think of, and making sure to take time to flush those out is really, really good. So at the end of this unit, there's lots of chance for rigor. You can teach many skills and techniques and also rules. So whatever expectation you set, they will hopefully rise to, and um, it can be very relevant as far as you can play frisbee with friends, you can play catch, you can go play frisbee golf in your local frisbee golf course, and then you can play ultimate frisbee, whether it's at the park, recreationally, or competitively, and making sure you have conversations and show your students where they can do that outside of school is really, really cool. And it's a great lifelong opportunity to be physically active. So there we go.